Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Dave. Welcome back. And you have joined Taste of Flavorful Culture. Today we're going to do some brown stew chicken. And I'm going to try to keep it as much authentic as possible. I'm not going to elaborate too much, but these are all the seasons that we're using. And we're doing some just chicken wings. Chop up the chicken wings, like wash them in vinegar, a little bit of lemon, wash them about twice, 3 times, and let's go on and get into it. All right, we got our chicken wings, and the first thing I always go in with is my tried and true, my green seasoning. This is not the one I did yesterday. This is one that's been sitting in the refrigerator, and like I said, I use so much of it. You know, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna just use what the little bit that's left in the container, cause I got a whole fresh batch, and in no time y'all gonna see I'll be making some more. All right, I'm getting everything out of the bottle. I leave taking everything, as much as I can. All right, that is my green seasoning. Then I'm gonna go in with my dry ingredients. I got a little bit of seasoned salt, and I'm going in with like maybe it's only a pack of chicken wings, so I'm gonna go in with like say roughly a tablespoon or less, three quarters, just to make sure, because they're not sitting in the fridge. They're not sitting in the fridge overnight to get all that flavor going in. And I don't want to put too much for it to be, over seasoned. All right. Next thing I'm going with my garlic and herbs, one of my favorite ones. I'm going in with a whole teaspoon. Actually, I'm going with 2. I'm going with a half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm gonna go in with some garlic, but I'm just gonna go in with a teaspoon. Boy, he loves a lot of garlic. Excuse me, I just like things kind of out of my way when I'm cooking. So, paprika, this is smoked paprika. And I'm going to go in with a whole teaspoon. Add a little smoky flavor and a little bit of coloring. I'm going to go in with a little bit of chili powder. And I'm going to just go in maybe with a 3/4 of a teaspoon. All we doing is building on flavors, That's all we doing. Onion powder, I'm gonna go in with at least 2 teaspoons. Onion flavor brings out a lot of flavor. Then I'm going with my complete seasoning. I'm going with another teaspoon. Pimentos, I'm gonna save that till I actually start what I'm doing with the pot. I'm gonna drop them in the pot itself. And just a hint of garlic. I'm not just 3/4 of a teaspoon of fresh garlic. Put this back in the refrigerator. All right. Now, Goya adobo. I'm going in with 2 of these. 2 packages of Sazon Goya. Sazon Goya. I think I said Goya adobo, but it's Sazon Goya. Okay? And then some of my Worcestershire sauce. Going with about three tablespoons. You can get in here, and we're gonna mix that bad boy up. You wanna get your hands in here, you wanna put on gloves, whatever. This is for my house. So I'm just going in here, my hands are clean. So I'm just going here and toss everything up and make sure that everything is coated. Normally I'll put this in the refrigerator and let this bad boy sit for a few hours overnight. Much better. Sometimes I even put the stuff in there for 2-3 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands. Alright. This is what it looks like. Okay, you got all your seasonings and everything in there. You got that bad boy looking nice. Everything is coated. Alright. Then I'm going to go get my pot. I'm going to get that bad boy nice and hot. While it's getting hot, sorry about that. While it's getting hot, I'm putting a little bit of vegetable oil. I'm going in maybe two tablespoons, 2.5. And then I'm going to add some brown sugar to it. So while this bad boy is getting nice and hot, I don't want to get too ridiculously hot, but I also want the pan to get nice and hot, so I can go ahead and add my sugar. I'm going to move this out of the way. Alright, I love my little Dutch pot. Love it, love it, love it. While that is getting hot, it doesn't have much oil in there and it's already up and high. I'm going to go in, put it somewhere. You get one of these little pot spoons. Okay, maybe that's a quarter cup or less. You know, brown sugar. I don't know what you want to call that. A third cup. But you just add some to your pot while it's heating up. And you go ahead and you just let that bad boy go. It's going to melt the sugar. And that's going to be the browning process. We're going to add the chicken to it. Now, you got to keep an eye on this thing. Because if you don't, it's going to burn on you. If it gets too dark and it gets burnt, you might as well just throw it away and start from scratch. Pot is still coming up to temp. Get that bad boy starting to sizzle a little bit. And you want to make sure you get you a good pot spoon, something with a little length to it, and you know, a nice solid one. Because you really and truly, if you're not experienced with it, you don't want to put your hand all the way in there, because that sugar, while it's burning, we call it burning, but it's just melting the sugar. That bad boy will burn you. Now, a lot of people think because you're using brown sugar, it's gonna get sweet. No, it's not gonna be sweet. It's just adding color to your food. You basically cooking out the sweet taste off of it. That stuff that you buy in a bottle, that browning, this is exactly what it is. I give a little tilt to show you it's starting to melt. Okay? Right now I'm just running a one-man camera crew. I see it starting to smoke. Your kitchen is going to get a little smoky. I'm trying to avoid turning on the fan right now, you know, so you can hear exactly what I'm saying. I'm going to pick this up because, like I said, it's just me. You see it's getting frothy? You're going to start moving it around. You don't want it to get black. All right. It's getting there. It's getting there. I turn the heat down to medium because I don't want it to burn. You can see I'm going in there. It's getting browner and browner. You don't want it to get black. If it gets black and it gets smoky, your food is going to be bitter. Alright, it's getting to that point. Now it's time. I'm going to stir this one more time. And it's time to throw in the chicken. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start mixing some of it in. Let it start picking up the color. And this is why you use a heavy pot. You don't want to use a light pot on this because you need heat. Plus you also need, these pots to be clean better. And you don't want to use a non-stick pan because you're going to scratch up the bottom of it. I'm going to crank this back up a little bit. And it still has stuff in here. What I'm going to do is take a little bit of water. I'm going to add to this. But I'm going to do that in a second. Washing my hands again. Go in here. We keep it moving this chicken. All we're doing is adding flavor and adding color. Alright, I didn't mention it, but while I was adding the chicken in, I went back up to high heat. Because you know when you add, even though it's room temperature, you're adding food to the pot, and any kind of meat or whatever, it's going to reduce the heat. So I'm trying to keep the heat up. I don't want it to boil, I just want it to be nice and brown. Normally what I would do, I'll let it sit here and spring its own water. And then I'll cover it up, let it spring its own water. But these pots here don't always create a perfect seal. So it don't get a chance to always spring its own juices. But what I'm going to do in a few, I'm going to turn it down. After I get a little bit more color on this stuff, I'm going to turn it down. And I'm going to put the top on and see what we're working with. Alright, I'm going to turn it down and I'm going to put the cover on it. And just let it go. Alright, while that's doing its thing, I'm going to go over here. I'm Where's that there? While that's doing this thing, I'm gonna go ahead and just chop up a few my other ingredients, okay? You don't need nothing really too fancy, you know. Nothing fancy. I'm trying to let that bad boy spring some juices, but it depends on the pot. You know, it depends on the good seal. Because you know when you close up a pot, it starts more or less steaming. But some of these Dutch pots sometimes be playing games. Okay? We not going no perfect nothing. Just give it like a rough chop. At least it won't be too fine when it's cooking. It'll be able to keep the integrity. I got some thyme over here. I'm gonna just drop that on top because everything is going in. Everything is going into the pot at the same time. Everything already washed. I got a couple of scallions. All right, put this aside. We'll come back to it. All right, I'm gonna give this a quick little stir. Quick little stir. I don't want it to burn. Now, like I said, all these pots are not yoked equally. All right, all right. If you notice you're getting a little more color on the chicken, there's several different ways that I do this. But when I'm cooking bulk, I don't even do this. I use more or less the browning in the bottle because there's no way really and truly you'll be able to, I'll put this inside, you'll be able to stir that big pot with all that other chicken in there. So, you're doing big batches, depending on how big the batch is, you want to go ahead and use the browning. Alright, the same container that I used, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run some warm water in it. I'm going to pick up everything, all the seasonings, everything goes in the bottom. Use roughly about a cup. And I'm going to go ahead and dump that bad boy in. Like I said, there's many different ways that I do this. When the sauce starting to cook down, the chicken is going to pick up a little more of the color. I guess I'm going to redo this video another time, but I'm going to use a regular everyday pot. This is just my Dutchie. Alright, bringing that bad boy up to a boil. And what we're going to do now is go ahead and add everything else in it. Put all the vegetables in there. And then we can't forget a pimento. Just a few. I'm gonna let this bad boy get up to a boil, and then I'm gonna turn it down. Until then, we'll be right back. All right, it came up to a boil. Everything is going, and it's looking good. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give you a quick shot of it, and I'm gonna turn it down, and I'm gonna just let it keep going. All right, this is what it looks like while it's cooking. Okay, came up to a boil. I'm gonna lower it, and then I'm gonna put the cover back on. I got my chicken Maggi over here, my Maggi pollo. It's the liquid form, and that's the only thing I might put in. And a little bit, maybe usually I put in a little more onion powder and probably a little seasoned salt, but we'll see. All right, about 8 minutes gone by. Take the top off. Take a look. The temperature of the chicken and everything has come up. So it's about time where I can go in and safely taste it and see if I need anything else. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go straight in the middle. Give it a quick little stir. Perfect. Perfect. I don't have to add anything else, but I'm a kind of fanatic when it comes to like onion powder. So I'm thinking I can go with a little bit more onion powder. Right now it's just basically you flavoring to taste. So there's no specific amount that you need to put in there. I'm just going by what I like. Make sure I get all the little bit of flavor that's stuck on the edge of the pot. Get that bad boy in there. I ain't leaving nothing behind. I'm making a mess while I'm doing it, huh? Alright, if you'll cover this back, go ahead and cover it back. But what you want to do is leave the lid itself more or less cracked, at least 3/4 of the way. You want some of the steam to escape. And you want to more or less continue reducing the gravy. This is also a good little thing right here. I'm not getting paid to do it, but it's Maggi pollo. This is also something that I usually would add to my chicken when I'm seasoning it, and it has a little salty flavor to it. So when you use stuff like this, you better make sure you don't add a whole lot of salt. I got so much stuff in here. This is not the proper container, but this is also Maggi pollo. I put it in this container, but this is the powder form, and this is more salty than that. Okay, you only need I would suggest no more than a teaspoon of this. And then, you add your little seasoned salts and whatever else, and just flavor the taste. And even if you think it needs a little more salt, I suggest going in with a little bit at a time of the Maggi pollo. Just a little bit. Understand, when I said a little bit, I mean a little bit. It adds a hell of a flavor, but it can also be a little salty. So I try not to cook with a whole lot of salt. I added that much because basically I usually would add like a little bit here and there, and then put it in the refrigerator, and all the seasoning would go ahead and work in through the meat. being as though I'm basically cooking it like they say they may not even say that because I ain't want to get blurred. We cooking it like the people that just go to the grocery store, pull out the package, season it. Some don't even season it. Some don't wash it. They just straight in the pot. We don't work later. But for purposes, I'm kind of running a little late. I haven't been feeling good. So that's why I kind of doing it this way. And two, so that you can see exactly how I season my stuff. Okay? I'm going to get you a little closer in. And then we'll come back when it's completely finished and ready for a second taste test. All right? Hang in there. We coming. We almost finished. This compared good with some mac and cheese. I'm thinking about doing some peas and rice and some plantains. But we'll see. All right. We'll be right back. Stand by. All right, we're back. All right, man. It's bubbling along. It's coming along. It's basically finished. You know, the gravy is nice and thick. And I got a taste test over here somewhere. Michael.
Yes?
Do me a favor. Go wash your hands. Soap and water.
Okay.
You got a spoon here for you?
Okay.
Napkins over there? Alright. Leave my meat alone. Taste the gravy. And tell me what we're working with.
Fine, I'll taste your gravy this one time.
Step away. Put your hand under it, man. Alright. Blow. You gonna burn. It's good?
Hot, juicy, good, all of the above. Like always, David, you always exceed yourself.
Put it in the sink, man.
Oh, okay. Well done, David.
Thank you. Alright. We're gonna come to the end with this. This is it right here. This is the finished product. It's good. It's delicious. It's succulent. I paused the video a couple of times. It takes anywhere about 30 to 45 minutes to get this complete from beginning to end, minus the part of chopping up, 45 minutes the most. Okay. This is a nice hearty meal. You can add potatoes in here. I usually add carrots, but I didn't feel like adding carrots today. You can add whatever you want into it to make it a little more hearty meal. Trust me, the family will enjoy it. Okay. And you can let it reduce a little more. And you still seeing a little bubbling. It's off, but it's still sitting on the burner. I love these burners because it stays on. You know, it keeps a lot of heat. So my gravy will be nice and thick. All right. Thank you for joining us. You know, I'm going to let it sit there a little bit. That's thick enough for me because I'm going over make some baked macaroni and cheese from scratch. So this is what we're working with. It's finished cooked. The meat is nice and tender. But I'm gonna let it sit on the heat for a little bit and let the gravy thicken up a little bit. Even I don't have to, but that's what's gonna happen. But if you want it even thicker than that, you can go in with a little bit of cornstarch and some warm water or hot water. Mix it up just a little bit. Just add it in there, and you make it as thick as you want to make it. But for me, this is perfect. All right. Again, thank you for joining us today. My name is Dave. This is Taste of Flavorful Culture. Enjoy, subscribe, like, share, try it, leave a comment, let me know how you enjoyed it. And like I said, tailor it however you want. I'm going to do this here up with some macaroni and cheese, and I'm going to fry some plantains to go along with it. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Be safe out here.